What's going on, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. Time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week. Starting over in Marvel, we had Venom #1, a new Al Ewing book that is coming out. Now, I gotta say, I have not been following Al Ewing's run for quite some time. I know him and Rom did some Venom stuff, some Carnage stuff. I fell out of those runs pretty quickly because I felt like they didn't really go anywhere. I did touch base with Venom recently. Wasn't there another new #1 that came out a little while ago? I got into that one. I did not like what I was seeing. Here's an all-new Venom #1. So what's going on inside of this one? Again, I'm really confused. There's a new symbiote that's attached himself to a new host. This host is pretty quick to flaunt their powers around, interrupting this court that's in session right now. We have Luke Cage. We got some other folks that are in the audience kind of watching this all go down. And it's really kind of disrupting stuff. Somebody from AIM is trying to resurrect all that stuff as well and kind of throw their weight around. We have this new symbiote. We don't know who he's attached to. There's all these suspects and things like that about who it could actually be. Things like that, but I don't know, man. It just really didn't hit for me. I don't like the court setting. I don't know what's really going on. I don't like this idea of who the new Venom is and all this stuff. We have Dylan Brock in here as well, and he's really interested to see who this could be as well. I don't know. It really didn't hit it on all cylinders for me. The artwork was kind of weak as well. I'm kind of over this Venom stuff right now over at Marvel because it's everywhere, and I'm just kind of getting tired of it. We're kind of past that. I think we need to move on to the next phase, whatever that is in the Marvel line. I don't know, guys. Did you read it? What'd you guys think? Next up from Marvel, we have the Ultimates issue #7, Dennis Camp on this one. Now, the Ultimate line has been really interesting so far. The Ultimate X-Men run, I'm kind of dipping out of. Black Panther, kind of getting bored. I want to get to the point of it. Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm loving right now. Ultimates, that kind of go back and forth. Sometimes it's a really great issue, sometimes it's a pretty weak issue, and I think this is a pretty weak issue. Now, the issue we came off of, issue #6, was pretty fire. Lots of action. Dennis Camp was throwing in some comedic elements into the whole battle and whatnot, but at least it was action-packed. There's a lot of cool things going on, and the stakes were high, right? We may have had some casualties, things like that. We're coming out of that right now, and we're trying to understand where the team is at this moment. They're dealing with grief, they're dealing with loss, they just got their butts kicked, they want to go home, they want to protect their people, they want to be normal, whatever it might be. We have the big anniversary of the big tragedy that happened a year ago, so a lot of characters are going through that right now, but it was an issue where we kind of sat back and just kind of touched base with all the different characters, trying to figure out where they are emotionally, which is okay coming out of a big battle issue like issue #6. So I guess issue #7 is really a breather issue, to be honest with you. Again, touching base with all these different characters. We're going to figure out where we're going from here, though. Let me know what you guys thought was on Ultimates issue #7. Let's go over to DC next with Batman Smells and Robin Laid an Egg, a little holiday special with a slew of different writers and artists, lots of different stories inside of this one. So if you're into those kinds of things, you might be digging this one. Now, it is a $10 price point, so you have to really gotta get over that. And to be honest with you, none of the stories really hit it for me. So it was kind of a disappointment, kind of going through story after story. And they're all cute, right? They're all stories that maybe a younger person would enjoy, but you're not gonna get any true depth inside of these stories. They're not gonna change your life, you know what I mean? So if you're into those short stories and you want it in the DC universe, having to do with the Christmas holidays and whatnot, you want to see Green Lanterns helping out Santa Claus, things like that, then you might dig this book. It'll get you in the spirit, perhaps, or you might get frustrated you just spent $10 on this book. But let me know if you guys read that one down below. Next up is Batgirl issue #2. Brombles on this one, and I dipped into issue #1 kind of on a whim, right? It was a little bit of a lighter week. I read issue #1. I really like Cassandra Cain, so I wanted to dip into it, seeing what's going on. So it's all about that family legacy drama, right? Her mom's back in town. She's pissed off about that. She's trying to combat whatever that relationship was from back in the day. She's trying to move forward, you know what I mean? But her mom's bringing all this baggage with her. She has to really align with her mom, or they're going to be killed. And the first issue is really setting up all of that. Hey, there's something that we need to pay attention to. You need to be on board with your mom, and we got to figure this crap out. In this issue, stuff really hits the fan because we know what the threat is inside of this issue, and they do a great job of incorporating that threat into Cassandra Cain's life. We touch base with some of her friends and mentors and whatnot that she's had growing up after she left her mom. People that have trained her in the past. Now they are kind of in the crosshairs. They're in the line of fire, and we have to figure out what to do with them. And it's kind of tragic towards the end of this issue. So it was another great issue with lots of action and everything. We got introduced to our villains as well, and I can't wait to see where we go. Never really thought I'd say that, but Batgirl issue #2, let me know if you're reading it. So we have Kristen Ward on a new Two-Face book. So we have Two-Face issue #1, part of that All-In initiative. Pretty cool book. This is actually giving us a little sneak peek of the underground court system that they have in Gotham. A lot of villains, a lot of mobsters and stuff like that getting together. Harvey Dent's trying to play both sides right now. Of course, he's in like this mobster jury system, but he's also playing a lawyer and he's asking this guy's different questions and whatnot. There's serial killers all over the place. It was kind of interesting, I thought, to see all that kind of stuff play out. And there's a little bit of a mystery here that we're trying to solve as well. So, serial killer is kind of on trial. Of course, there's some backstabbing and things like that. This is the Wild West of jury systems. The art was from Fabio Veras, which I'm not super familiar with, but it did the job for sure. So if you're not over like Gotham City, Rogues Gallery kinds of things, and you want to dip into some more Two-Face stuff that's like not super serious, we've got a lot of super serious Two-Face stuff lately. If you want to jump in and have a little bit more fun with it, you could check out this one right here. Let me know if you did though down below. Chip Zdarsky's continuing that Batman run with 155, and I gotta say that I was a little bit in and out of that run ever since like the fail-safe stuff, right? I think we can all admit that it's taken a little bit of a dip, but there's some interesting things still happening in here, and I think this is one of the better issues that we've gotten in a very long time. We learned in the previous issues that the mayor has been killed. There's a lot of suspects out there right now, and Jim Gordon is at the top of that list, and we get to kind of go back in time a little bit to figure out, like, are the clues there to really convict him? Did Jim really do this? Is he capable of doing that? Who knows? We're trying to unpack that some more inside of this issue, and we do get to a conclusion, which was pretty shocking, I would say. So a lot of cool detective kind of stuff in here, which is what we don't normally get from Batman, you know what I mean? Like some people want heavy Batman detective stories. Some people just want them like falling out of space and having to deal with that. So I would say Batman 155, it's definitely a book that is better than the average Batman book at this moment. Riddler's still doing Riddler stuff in here, and like, is he as clean as he's been letting on? Like, no, he's trying to get his paws into some pretty shady stuff. We get to see that inside of here as well. So interesting story. Can't wait to see where it goes. 155. Let me know if you read it. Jason Aaron on Absolute Superman issue number 2. Issue number 1 was probably my least favorite of the 3 new Absolute titles that have come out, but issue number 2 I think was spectacular. It blew the first book out of the water. We're still kind of touching base, having this like dual story where we're looking back at Krypton, seeing the slow demise, right, or the destruction of Krypton, what his family in particular was doing to avoid all of this. We also get to see Kal-El and like what his life was like when he was younger. He's going through like a school system and whatnot, but the shining part of this entire issue, I think, is the relationship between him and this Lois Lane character who's trying to arrest him and put him in custody at the end of the last issue. That relationship, that banter, that realization that she has throughout this issue about like what kind of a person he actually is and how that slowly evolves throughout the issue. After seeing him do some really heroic things and like saving people's lives, I loved all that. I like the forces they throw at him. I like his response to them. That relationship, like I said, blossomed throughout the whole issue. That was really magical. I really enjoyed that one. So issue number 2, way better, I think, than issue number 1. And it's a little bit closer now. It's like, what's my second favorite Absolute book? Wonder Woman's still up there. Batman needs a couple more issues, I think, to prove itself to me. But Superman issue number 2, way better than issue number 1. Let me know what you guys thought, though, down below. Next up is Little Batman issue number 2. Really, really cute, charming book. If you're not over Batman stuff right now, check this one out because I think it has a lot of humor and just some levity to it that you don't see in a lot of other Batman books. Also recommend it for any young readers out there because I think the art style would really resonate with them and it's a cool way to get them into Batman, I think, so maybe you should lean on that. Now, in the previous issue of Little Batman, we had this like gala that Bruce Wayne was throwing. Of course, Damian's there as well. Bruce Wayne gets captured by the Scarecrow and Damian's still trying to understand like that balance between the superhero persona and like your real persona, right? Trying to figure all this out. Like he could have surely taken on Scarecrow, right? He just hasn't learned that lesson. Alfred has to teach him that delicate balance between playing both sides, right? If he did something there, he would have given away the secret identity, put everybody at harm. He's still trying to learn those lessons. He's a little kid inside this issue. So he's still trying to realize all that stuff. And he takes it upon himself to go try to save Batman, going right out into the streets of Gotham, taking on people head on. And it's just really funny about the different people that he comes in contact with and how he handles all those situations. I thought it was really charming and clever. Again, the art style is just perfect for this book, I think. So let me know if you guys are reading this one. And if so, maybe you should give it to your kids. Let me know how that goes down below. All right, only one indie book. It's Conan the Barbarian, Battle of the Blackstone issue number 3. Now we have Jim Zub on this one, of course. This is actually the conclusion to this epic run that he's put together, a series that's been building up in the main Conan run and a little bit here and there in Savage Sword as well, coming together to give us this 4-issue little mini-series, and I loved it. It was handled so well, I think. I think it was a delicate balance between having all these different characters on the page at once. Like, you need to have time for them to all shine, and I think they did a pretty good job of doing that. There are some deaths deaths, there's some casualties, there's some heartbreak throughout this run. It's only 4 issues, but we do lose some key people, and there's some awesome usage of magic in here as well, which really adds to the mythos of everything. I love the use of magic inside this book. There's a lot of ghostly elements in here too. They're all drawn to this like power source, you know what I mean? And as soon as we go to investigate it, our final boss comes out. So our entire team has to get together to kind of figure things out. And I just love the scale of all of this. He did a really good job of like putting this all together. The remaining members of our group all had little moments to shine in here. Brissa played a very important role in this entire thing, like getting us to where we need to go and almost like dealing like the final blow at the end. But so many different characters in our group had their moments, which I thought was really good as well. But the other thing this issue does is not only does it resolve the issues that we had going into this run, but it also gives us a sneak peek as to where we're going. And I can't be more excited. It's going to be really interesting. I'm loving this one. These Conan books have been pretty solid, so I really recommend checking them out if you haven't yet. There's some collected editions out there as well. Interested to see how they're going to put together the Battle of the Blackstone like collected edition, since it kind of bled across multiple series, but well worth it if you're not reading it right now. Definitely check it out. Let me know if you have, though, down below. Well, guys, that's all I read this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down below in the comments what you read and what your favorite books of the week were. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.